Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues. With this video, we'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 8 of the anime series Arslan Senki, or the Heroic Legend of Arslan. And this was a kick-ass episode where finally we're seeing Arslan and his little group coming together and going after the traitorous Carlin. And I love how, they use his pomposity against him effectively. Narcissus being just a cunning strategist, as we've seen time and time again. He uses Carlin's own pomposity to lead Carlin and his forces, which greatly outnumber, of course, the small band of rogues that are traveling with Arslan, into this cavernous region where basically they can be very easily upset. And that's exactly what happens. Carlin himself being the focal point, because basically Arslan wants to figure out, why is this guy turning on him? Why did he, become so traitorous and all this kind of stuff? And the reveal that comes all the way at the end of the episode is just gobsmacking, as far as I'm concerned. Following this series, and very much as a viewer wondering what in the hell is going on, But I love that whole sort of chess match that's unfolding. You basically have 6 people against an entire army, and they still outwit them. They still chase them away. They send them packing with all of this just greatly, positioned way of coming at them, and they're doing it in levels as well, because of course you have Arslan revealed at the mountaintop, and Carlin, his blood fury to go after Arslan is very much what they're utilizing here. But I mean, we see, that basically Elam has given Arslan a bow, and Arslan's pretty effective with it. He's taking down soldiers and really getting up Carlin's ire to the point where Carlin's going to go and do it himself, because everyone else is failing. And you have all of these great sort of sequences where, Ferengis and Give, they've caught up with them and everything like that, and they're going after soldiers. There's one point where Ferengis actually, shoots an arrow and gets a soldier just before he's about to strike Arslan from behind. Arslan, of course, runs out of all of his arrows, and that's when he's confronted with Carlin. But this is when they call into effect Daryun, who's been sitting in the wings waiting, and there's this great moment where, Elam, to give the impression that they have hundreds of troops that are closing in on the scenario, he moves some boulders, makes them fall down a cliff, so it sounds like hundreds of horse hooves coming in on the scene, sends Carlin, his whole army packing, as I say. And it's just incredible, the step-by-step process of whittling away this enemy faction, this force, and with only 6 people. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. And of course, once the confrontation happens, you have Daryun and, Carlin chasing each other down this cliff face, and eventually Carlin's own sort of weakness and being tricked by the mastery of Daryun, he falls on his own weapon, and he's, going to be dying, and Arslan is pleading for him not to die, even though this guy is a traitorous bastard. Pardon the language, but that's what he is. But Arslan is that kind of compassionate soul that he doesn't want to see this man die, especially because he still has questions that he wants to see answered. And the most they get out of this whole scenario, between words exchanged from Carlin and Give as well, is Arslan's peace of mind that his mother and father are still alive, at the very least. But of course, Carlin does die, and, that's sort of the next stage of the mission being revealed, is that we're going to have to go and try to find Andragoras as well as Tahimane, his mother and father. And what's interesting is this turn in the tide toward the end of the episode, where Arslan begs of Ferengis, will you say a sort of soliloquy for the souls of all these men whose lives have been taken, even in spite of their treachery, because of the soul, the kind soul that Arslan is. And he even surprises, like Give calls him naive and everything like that. But you have Daryun and Elam and Narcissus all kind of like shocked. Even Ferengis herself is kind of shocked, that her temple and her prowess with basically issuing prayer-like words would be called upon to this effect. It's just incredible. And of course, as I say, that reveal, that other foot finally dropping Who is Silver Mask? What is the purpose behind Carlin's treachery? All of that stuff is revealed with the single face-off between Andragoras, who's being held within Ekbatana's dungeons, and Silver Mask himself, who reveals himself to be Hermes, or Hermes, depending, son of basically Andragoras' brother. We know, as was revealed in the last episode, Andragoras killed his brother for Tehimine. So does this then mean that Silver Mask, Hermes, is actually Arslan's brother, stepbrother, if you will? Do they share blood? Because that would have to, one would assume, mean that Tehimine is Silver Mask's mother. Just an incredible, incredible revelation, because in the midst of this, you have Andragoras beaten and bloodied and chained in this dungeon, and he starts laughing maniacally at the reveal. I guess maybe it all makes sense now to him. It definitely makes sense why Carlin would seem to be treacherous, but in a manner of speaking, he's actually not. He's actually trying to, preserve the sanctity of, at least in the familial, situation within the kingdom and the hierarchy and all of that. Technically speaking, if Andragoras' brother was the king, his son would be the rightful heir to the throne. But Andragoras, of course, killed the guy, stepped in. I assume he tried to kill his own nephew, Hermes, which is probably why he wears that mask. He's probably deformed in the face from something Andragoras did to him. As we heard him, sort of threatening when finally Silver Mask caught up with Andragoras. And, it's just amazing to me, all of the relations going on in this particular episode. And now we find out that it's still all familial. It's still all a matter of internal politics within the kingdom and the monarchy that is this lineage. And how is Arslan going to deal with that? Presumably he's going to be going after his father and mother. But when confronted, as we see in the teaser for the next episode, it seems like Daryun and Silver Mask are going to be, heading to blows toward each other. And I'm sure there's going to be more revelations dropping. And I can only imagine Arslan is going to be distraught and feel like he's been lied to, perhaps. But he will probably still strive to rise above. And I just can't wait to see what's going to happen next. This episode kicked a lot of ass, revealed to us almost the entirety of the impetus behind Carlin's treachery or seeming treachery, depending on your perspective, because, as I say, it's almost as though he's trying to preserve the kingdom and the rightful heir of that hierarchy and everything like that. Of course, you have the sort of would-be king, that fat guy from, a couple episodes back, and his brother, who I speculated might be coming to blows as well, and how that's going to factor in with Silver Mask. I think Silver Mask is probably just biding his time until he can rightfully reclaim the throne for himself, for his own good, and he's using the Lusitanians and everything like that to his benefit. So I can only imagine there's tons of fallout yet to come, and I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of Episode 8 of Arslan Senki, if you've seen it, if you were as impressed with the twists and the revelations as they turned out to be revealed to us in this episode. And so, yeah, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.